There's a handful of lopsided NBA rivalries that Dime Magazine and Up Rocks kind of put together, and then I looked into Basketball Reference to look at the head-to-heads, and I found a few and added one very important one, but we're saving that for the end. And I'm telling you, stay woke, people.
Stay woke.
I tweeted it this morning, too. We're going to start with Steph Curry and Chris Paul. It's not the most lopsided because I think that's the James Durant one, but we're going to start with Curry and Chris Paul. Here's Curry versus Chris Paul on a head-to-head matchup in terms of it's, again, you look at the win-loss, it's a team game. However, what's going on there? 16-8? I know that I thought the Warriors and the Clippers had a rivalry. Usually rivalries are at least a closer record.
Yeah.
What's amazing to me is like they play the same minutes. Obviously, Chris Paul's not as good as a three-point shooter. That makes sense. It also takes him like 14 more minutes to get a shot up. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to rip on Chris Paul at all. Everyone knows if they watch this channel at all that I love Chris Paul. I think he's the best point guard in the NBA. I still think he's the best point guard in the NBA. No disrespect to all the other guys.
All the other guys, right.
He slows time. I don't know how. He's a mind bender.
The numbers look pretty much, with the exception of like the win-loss column, most of the
really
numbers
close.
are pretty close. They're really close.
I think the assists. Can we go back to that one more time? The assist numbers are a little bit in Chris Paul's favor, which is unsurprising, because obviously, and it's by the way, a Curry though free throw percentage like lights out from the line. And everyone who talks about, I know, yes, Chris Paul is obviously the better defender. He's always been the better defender as a point guard than almost everybody at the point guard position in the league. However, that defensive metric steals, you got to give Curry respect with that. He does swipe 2 a game from Chris. I'm sure that roughly means Chris Paul himself.
If you look at just the win-loss percentage, you think like this is, oh my gosh, Curry is killing this guy. But if you look at the rest of those stats,
the numbers
it really evens out, and it shows you where that whole rivalry conversation comes from.
What the reality though is the Warriors do beat up on the Clippers. It's been something like 7 or 8 straight. Yeah, and that game this season where it wasn't even close again, and they had everybody there. It was before Blake Griffin took his 2-month off injury time. He has to take his injury time.
I love the injury time.
He
said it like he went on a sabbatical.
It's my EP's fault. Dan doesn't like Blake Griffin. He's turned me into a hater.
He said like he went on a sabbatical or something. Like
by the way, they can all come to the Knicks though. If all of them, they're all free agents. Redick, Chris Paul, Blake Griffin. We have room.
Crawford.
My favorite player in the NBA.
There you go.
He actually is. He's my favorite player in the NBA. And everyone's like, why? I'm like, just he's behind the back crossovers, like the sickest thing ever. And he doesn't go to the gym. It's like my other favorite thing.
Your other favorite thing.
Look at his arms. He's got Brandon Ingram arms. Or Brandon Ingram has Jamal Crawford arms.
Ingram arms.
They're literally tiny twigs. They're twigs.
Agreed.
There's hope for mankind. Hope for mankind, the basketball kind. All right, next one. Duncan and Garnett. This one actually, it was not too surprising to me, although I'm a believer. Duncan and Garnett, a lot closer. I mean, 17-27, and don't forget how good the Spurs teams were compared to that of that. But those numbers, again, almost identical. You really can't get it any closer, especially in blocks. So here's the thing, though. If you swapped Kevin Garnett and Tim Duncan, their numbers were so remarkably similar throughout their entire careers that I think Kevin Garnett, if he was on the Spurs, would have 5 championships and Tim Duncan would have 1.
I would agree with that. Based on looking at those numbers alone, that's remarkable how close they were. And
pretty crazy.
But the funny part is how like opposed they are as players. Like how like Kevin, personality-wise, like they're so different from each other.
I mean, it's to me it's so weird because like this again, that was 2 of the guys who retired, and like from the general, and then Kobe Bryant, like you're talking about a Hall of Fame class that will be the greatest Hall of Fame class ever.
Yeah,
Duncan, Kobe Bryant,
and Kobe,
and the Splash Godfather, Splash Grandfather, Ray Allen.
Oh, Ray Allen, yes. Yes, yeah.
The Splash Great Grandfather. Because we weren't sure. He officially retired, but he had like that year where he was like definitely just teasing all of us, being like I might come back.
Yeah.
By the way, you can also join the Knicks.
you can, anyone out there, if you want to join the Knicks,
any future Hall of Famer,
available.
Please come and join the Knicks. We're eventually. So this is the one that got the head. This is the headline for the James and Durant. I think a lot of people know this all the way back to the 2012 NBA Finals. It's brutal on the team metric. And again, though, the trend you're seeing, what I find amazing is Durant is the better percentage shooter overall, but not against LeBron. Not with LeBron on him. he becomes almost a 30-point drop-off in shooting percentage against LeBron. That means LeBron's doing his job.
Look at everything from like field goal attempts
to
like everything is almost exactly the same. That goes to show you how great of a player that both of those guys
Seriously.
are. I mean, that regardless of the matchup, that they're able to perform at the top level of the game. Right. And we can see obviously LeBron dominated when it comes to the win column. A lot of those numbers obviously reflect KD's time in Oklahoma. So like that's another thing. Like you kind of have to, that building time that Oklahoma went through and all those days and all those games. So there's a little bit more to it than just the hard numbers.
The head-to-head's a bit unfair.
Yeah.
Just because it's a team. Those wins. Basketball's a team game. We know that at this point. You can't do it by yourself. Although Russell Westbrook is going to try harder than anybody else has ever tried in the history of basketball. Because he is really going for it. We have like 2 minutes, so I got to get to Robinson versus Hakeem, the Admiral, because again, identical numbers even by the total rebounds.
Oh my goodness!
Like they get more, and even at the 3-point attempts. 0.1.
Look at both of these.
But David Robinson dominated Hakeem Olajuwon, and that, as a team metric, and that's pretty remarkable. I guess Robinson also got him on 3-point shooting. No, but if you look at it, like the numbers are just remarkable. Blocks, turnovers, players fouled per game, right there. Not surprising for the throwback. And then most importantly, with 1 minute remaining in this clip, I have to go to element number 5. Because the people need to know, and that's my job.
Is this you and me? No? Oh, no, okay.
I believe that's 5 and 4.
Uh-oh.
Brian Scalabrine.
Scalabrine!
Now, the numbers aren't that similar.
But it's clear that...
But who's the better shooter, though? 54%.
Look at that. Field goal percentage, all right.
All right, for the seriousness, go back to Hakeem and David Robinson for the last 30 seconds. Just one element behind. Because, again, two legends of the sport, but when I think back at it, I remember these games, at least on NBA TV, being closer and a lot more fought out. And then I realized that, no, it was just these two going at it. Was the intensity. And if you, all these matchups, take away the scoreboard and just enjoy.
Yeah, I wonder how close these games the games were.
The Warriors-Clippers games aren't that close. The other ones aren't that bad. Durant and James gets the better of Durant, but the point differential I don't think was more than 10.
Yeah, see, and that's what I would want to take a look at as well, because even though in our world, like a win is a win regardless of how many points it is.
Right.
But if all of these games are really close and they're losing like close, like I think that tells a different story and speaks more to why the numbers are so close together as well.
I could be wrong. The Scalabrine was like plus 50 to the Scalabrine teams, but I could be wrong. Don't quote me on it.
I'm all about it.
So stay woke, sheeple.
Sheeple.
At Cousteau, youtube.com/Cousteau. Jacque, as always, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Always a fun